Yeah. All right. Welcome, everybody, to an all-new episode of Figure It Out, the show where we bring our love of figures with everything else. I am your host, as always, Juwaan, and join with me, as always, it's my amazing panel, starting off with JD. What's going on, JD?
What's up, Streamland? I hope everybody loves Snake Eyes.
We missed you last week, JD. We definitely missed you last week. Glad to have you back. Glad to have you back this week.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, brother. Next up, Pete. What's going on, Pete?
What's up, everybody? I have my angry hat on. And
What's
I got
it
my
say?
Snake
What's
Eyes
it say?
shirt. It says Brooklyn versus everybody.
Yes, sir.
This is what Pete wears when he's angry.
Wait, Pete, that's not a Nets hat. It's literally just a Brooklyn versus.
Just Brooklyn versus everybody, yeah. My boy Hoff was making these, and for whatever insane reason, he just stopped. Can I freaking make them again? Like, dude, you got a patent on these or what?
All right, just making sure, because for this friendship to last, you have to be a Knicks.
No, I'm a Knicks fan. Although the Nets did have that one really dope shirt with the sneakers and shit hanging down from the logo.
Nah,
that was great. That's a great design.
Pete. I'm
a Net fan. Thank you, Jason Kidd. I take the Nets 100%.
New Jersey.
Don't take that.
Right. Yeah, you're a
New Jersey Nets. That team.
Yeah, you're a New Jersey fan, JD.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say no. And guess what? They got better by coming to the best place in the fucking earth, Brooklyn.
That's not why.
No, they got turncoat by coming to the stadium.
Do you say the same thing to the Pelicans? Do you say the same thing to the Thunder? No,
I say it to all of them.
I don't know any of these.
I really say that to any team that sells their soul for success.
Do you say that to the St. Louis/LA Rams? No, you don't.
Yeah, I do. But I also don't need.
They went LA first.
I also don't need anybody moving in our backyard. But anyway, last but not least, shout out. What's up, Joel?
What's good? Hey, I did my research this week. I watched G.I. Joe and G.I. Joe Retaliation.
I'm very proud of you.
This is the last couple days, so God bless me.
What's your favorite part when Marky Mark died? Because I like it.
That was my least favorite. Marky.
Yeah. All right, so before
Magic Mike.
Magic Mike.
No, I know what you meant. You meant Channing Tatum. I know what you meant. Before we jump into our review of
Not like that, no.
Snake Eyes, I want to start off with figure talk.
Yes.
Start off with that. First of all, Joel, I love how things work. Today, I went to the comic book shop. I took back a lot of my 3.75 figures. The comic book shop. Yeah, I told you, JD, the day you mentioned 6-inch and I had one in my hand, I never went back to 3.75.
Motherfucker. I'm going to tell you where you messed up, all right? And I'm going to plug somebody. There's no money here. If you go to Instagram, look up Empire Toy Works on Instagram. And this guy has this whole facility built in in the spare room above his garage, and he calls it Rot Gut Station. And over years, he has been adding new scenery to this spaceport, which is in the middle of the room. So he uses only 1/18 scale, and he mixes everything. So you'll have, like today's picture, he has the David Tennant Doctor Who walking out of the TARDIS.
This is dope.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So
this guy's got the monster from Willow. Holy shit.
Oh, yes. So if you go through that website, Juwaan, that Instagram, you will be regretting everything you've given away from your 1/18 scale figures, because he just mixes and matches, dude. He has fun with all of it.
Okay, this dude has the Golden Girls outside of the RV from Spaceballs.
Yeah,
this is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
This is an instant follow.
The Golden Girls figures are like $500 now on eBay.
Yeah, they're stupid. They were Comic-Con exclusive. They're stupid expensive.
Yeah, I believe it.
And I passed on them when they were going for like $25.
And that always the way?
Yeah.
What's the name of it again?
Empire Toy Works.
So
one word.
So I'm Juwaan. I'm sorry. I keep
go ahead, JD. Go ahead.
He calls his space station Rot Gut Station, and for all the drinkers out there, we have an affinity for anything rot gut. I love it.
I love how the drinkers get shout outs on this show. So I went
I'll
there.
drink to that.
I went there and I traded them in. For some strange reason, they said they're not really interested in Star Wars stuff, which is weird. But anyway, got back 180. So I used some of the store
Oof.
credit. I used some of the store credit, and it's funny you're wearing that hat, Joel, because I picked up this guy.
So,
Picked up Goku. And he came with Master Roshi, and then Brawly. Came with big ass Brawly.
That's new, bro.
I don't know what any of that stuff is.
Because you refuse to watch.
Oh, that's JD.
You refuse to watch.
Where
Dragon
does
Ball
that
Z.
come from? You know what? When you turned into figures, did you turn into Star Wars Rebels? Is that's why they don't want to give you money for it?
No. I was giving them the 3-inch Mandalorian stuff, and you will not disrespect Rebels. Anyway, before I show off my my Snake Eyes figures, before we get into our review of Snake Eyes, I did want to mention Hasbro just announced that not only are they dropping the Sylvie figure this later this year, but they're dropping the What If figures, and it builds into the Watcher. So I can't wait for that. I won't name the name of the figures because I feel as though it's a spoiler to some of the stuff people will see when they watch What If in 2 weeks or in a week or whatever. So I won't say the names of the figures. If people want to know, they can look it up themselves. But I don't want to rob that from someone like I just was. I'm listening to this, like
I'll rob it. It was Shang-Chi the Black Panther. It was
I love Joel just like no, none of that.
It was Tony Dr. Doom Stark. It was
But wait, I will say this, because this was in the trailer, so this isn't a spoiler at all. But the one figure I did not like because I did not like the detail of it, even though shout out to Hasbro, they removed pins from all these figures, so there's no pins in any of these figures. So that's pretty cool. But the Black Panther Star-Lord, I did not really like the design of it. Him kind of having the shorts where his legs are exposed was weird. It just didn't really pop to me like the other ones did. But I am excited for these figures and to build my big ass Watcher. But I also wanted to bring up, JD, they are still funding for Galactus.
Of course.
It's not closed yet. So I'm gonna try to throw my hat in that ring.
There's still like 30 days left on that bad boy.
Yeah, I want to throw my hat in that ring because they're gonna start releasing. Excuse me, I heard they're gonna release Nova and the Silver Surfer around the time this come out. So
wait, as stretch goals?
Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm interested in that.
I have which Nova?
I think it is. If I had to guess, I would say, because I think the MCU is pushing Sam, that it'll probably be Sam's. Probably not Richard.
Sucks. No, but see, he had a Nova as his herald, and it was the girl, Frankie Ray, and she was basically Silver Surfer with a flame hair.
She's a fire girl.
Yeah, man. I would have liked that. You know, you got Terrax, you got the Airwalker, you got Fire Lord. You got.
We got time for all that. Trust
me. Yeah,
but they've never done that, dude.
Well, exactly. We got time. We're gonna get there.
See, and that's what you know, for Hasbro Pulse to be doing the Marvel Legends stuff. They could have been doing, 1/18th also, man. You could be getting it out there. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of figures that they never did that would have rock and rolled for their 1/18 stuff, man. You never finished your Alpha Flight stuff. You never finished your entire West Coast Avengers. You never finished their Inhumans.
That Wolverine line that they have coming out, that I told you about before, that with the Omega Red, and then it looks like this high society of mutants. I can't wait for that set to come out. I am so eager to get that set. I just pre-ordered my my Obadiah Stane with Ironmonger.
Okay.
I just pre-ordered that, so I should have that within 2 weeks. So I'm pretty excited for that. I'm really looking forward to that. And I want the told you guys before, I'm waiting to get that Stark. I want the Stark with Thanos.
Right.
I want the Stark with Thanos. And then they're just releasing a whole lot more good stuff with their line. By the way, All right, so I'm gonna show off these GI Joe figures so we can get into talking Snake Eyes. But I will say, Bandai, please stop making toys because these what do you call it? These Dragon Ball Z figures I just showed you guys, they are so easily breakable. They're the worst. They are legit the worst. So Bandai, just please do me a favor, don't make toys anymore. You're not but all right. Anyway, let's move on. All right. So my Snake Eyes figures. First of all, I want to give a huge shout out to Pete for hooking me up with the greatest G.I. Joe character after Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, and that is Duke.
Oh, that's Buzzer from the Dreadnoughts.
Watch your mouth. You watch your mouth, JD. It is Duke, the greatest Joe.
You are very welcome, sir.
But thank you very much, Pete. Loving my Duke. Got him right next to Destro.
Loving my Duke.
Got him right next to Destro. Big Daddy
Destro, best villain in any form, genre, medium, whatever.
No,
I want to start like.
Not as long as Dr. Doom is breathing. Can I ever agree to that? Sorry.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No. Would I prefer Destro over Dr. Doom?
Hell
no.
Yeah. 100%.
Hell no.
Okay. let me throw some points out there for you. Number one.
Okay.
Destro got the girl.
Okay.
Always had the girl. All right. He let her play around wherever he wanted, but Destro had the baddest chick on the planet. What does Dr. Doom have? He's got Doom bots.
Wait, time out. You know what Dr. Doom doesn't do? Dr. Doom doesn't work for anybody because Dr. Doom is his own boss. There is no Cobra Commander for Dr. Doom.
You're forgetting who you're forgetting who Destro worked for.
Destro you already tried to turn to Dr. Doom, right?
No, Destro was all about the money. He was all about the cash. That's it. He followed the money. All right. He's like Amazon working with the post office so they could figure out how to do their own shipping. He went with Cobra Commander so he could find out how to run his own unit.
That's a meme that has to be made. Jeff Bezos as Destro.
I'm with that. I'm with that.
I will also say though, Dr. Doom had literally his own land. You know, just saying.
I would like to see just a 3-panel thing of Destro selling shit to Dr. Doom.
That would be hilarious. I don't know what Destro could sell him that he couldn't make himself, but it'd be interesting to see those two communicate. Where he's like, nice mask, and he's like, likewise.
He's like, nice mask.
I like what you got.
How do you get your lips to move in the metal? Yeah.
Right, exactly. All right, so we'll start off with Snake Eyes himself, mask off. No mask on.
Oh.
Okay. Still no scarring.
Yeah. I don't
see my face. I was
I don't even. You know what's funny? After I saw the movie, I refused to put the mask on. I refused to put it on because he doesn't deserve it. You didn't earn it. You're not putting that mask on. No thank you.
Valid point.
Not till you become.
Too pretty to me.
Not till you become Snake Eyes. And next up is the greatest actor to ever breathe, Andrew Koji as Storm Shadow.
I thought you were gonna say Patrick Stewart. Sorry. Okay.
No, sorry. Andrew Koji. Got the Baroness. Speaking of the baddest chick on the planet,
bad chick on the planet.
Baroness. Her glasses are removable.
Credit where credit is due. As far as likenesses go, that's a pretty damn good figure,
right? Yeah. And then she comes with 2 swords in the back
that she never used.
That she never used. Yeah, it was weird. So that's the Baroness, and that's it. That's it for the Snake Eyes. Well, because again, I told you. No one has Kimiko or Scarlet. It says we have to wait till October to buy it. So unfortunately, I couldn't get those 2, or I'd be able to show them off also. But all right,
I want the grandma.
I'm not. Yeah. You know what? I don't know why Hasbro doesn't do what Marvel's doing right now with their stuff. Like Sylvie is coming out way after.
Yeah.
Obviously way after we've seen her. And Mobius is coming out too. So it's like, why not do more with Snake Eyes? I would like the actual villain to be a figure that I could utilize.
Penta? Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, like you said, the grandma, the hard master, and the Blind Master. I would have loved them also, especially their likeness.
Yeah, I would like to see that.
Right, Peter Mensa, Iko
Yeah.
Uwais.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Wait, I want.
I don't even know that dude's name. I just call him Animaeus.
I want to ask you this, Pete and JD, because I was doing some refreshing about Storm Shadow, because now that Andrew Koji Storm Shadow, I'm in love with the character again. When did they stop? Joel, I will own that. I don't care. I love Andrew Koji.
I get it.
But when did they stop with? Because remember, it was originally Soft Master and Hard Master. When did it become Blind Master and Hard Master?
Well, the Soft Master was killed. The Hard Master was killed. The Soft Master went to America. Sorry, I misspoke there. Hard Master was killed. Soft Master went to America. I don't remember when the Blind Master showed up, but since I have it, I can just kind of look it right up here.
Yeah, I default to you on that one, Pete.
Okay, because also I was looking up.
Say it's around the 40s or so.
Because I was also looking up about Storm Shadow, and apparently Larry Hama was saying when he created Storm Shadow, he had a problem with the only Asian character being a bad guy. So there was a lot of Storm Shadow's past that in the comics wise that he was a good guy. Where he went up against Cobra. He literally infiltrated Cobra to destroy it from within once he found out Zartan was responsible for
the movie.
He was honorable.
Yes, he was. But see, that's what I loved about Andrew Koji's approach to the character was it was only about honor until it wasn't. Until he found out Snake Eyes was dishonorable. So it was just like, next time I see you, I'm slitting your throat. And I love that because it was strictly about honor. It had nothing to do with anything else. But
First appearance of the Blind Master was issue 59.
Issue 59. Okay. Because I'm like, it started off with Soft Master and Hard Master, which is the weirdest names. It's like, no, I'm gonna go to the Soft Master today. I don't think I could deal with the hard one today. I'm gonna go soft.
Well, we never heard of Firefly's master, the face-off master.
The Faceless Master, yeah.
Faceless Master, okay.
Faceless Master.
That wasn't until way later when they retconned Firefly to be one of the Arashikage.
Right.
And
I also didn't know, Pete, that Zartan's mission from Cobra Commander was to kill Snake Eyes.
Yes.
And obviously he fucked up the job.
He technically didn't, because Zartan fired the arrow to make it look like Storm Shadow did it, but he fired it at what he thought was Snake Eyes because the Hard Master was imitating a technique of Snake Eyes's. Yep. So he thought he got him.
Yep.
He was imitating a technique of Snake Eyes, or he taught Snake Eyes a technique and he was trying to recreate Snake Eyes.
He was showing Snake Eyes the technique and seeing if he could guess who am I imitating, basically. And what Snake Eyes didn't realize is he was imitating him. And he told him before he died.
That journey of Storm Shadow, as we get into our review of the movie, was one of my most enjoyable reads, because it's like you go through Storm Shadow dying, you go through Scarlet and Snake Eyes pretending to be dead so that they can go save some Joes that were kidnapped. There's just so much that happens in this elongated plot.
You talk about the original Marvel run.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so good.
That is an amazing run.
One of my favorite parts of that. I'm sorry, Jay.
No, go ahead, Pete. Go ahead.
One of my favorite parts of that was when they had to drop Snake Eyes into the war zone. It was like issue 103, 104, whatever. Mm-hmm. And he had to go up against like Major Blood and all of them guys. And Storm Shadow uses the ninja mindset and just turns him into a killing machine. That was so dope. That was like my first issue of G.I. Joe.
Wasn't there some kind of move Storm Shadow used where everyone thought he died, but he had learned some technique to where it was like, it's like it calms your heart to seem like you're dead or something like that?
I think that's a part of the Cloak of the Chameleon, which is Snake Eyes' move.
Yeah.
And Storm Shadow was the ear that sees. which is why he could like shoot a bow and arrow at you through a stone wall or some shit.
Right. And that's another reason, I'm going to go to you, JD, to kick us off. But that's another reason why I love Storm Shadow. He's so practical in the sense of guns disgust him. It's your bow and arrows. You know what I'm saying? It's your swords. And that's why I love Snake Eyes, because he's just such the total opposite. Snake Eyes could just complete a mission just purely off handguns and be able to sleep soundly at night. Storm Shadow's more just like, no, I don't like any of that. I'd rather kill you with a bow and arrow from like 8 blocks down, and you never see it coming. So I just love how they contrast each other in the sense of their weaponry. But go ahead, JD. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna ask about the lady Snake Eyes. I
Long story.
He apparently doesn't like that one either.
You know what? The thing I don't like about it is I respect to Larry Hama for this. When he kills somebody, they stay dead for the most part, unless he's given orders to bring them back for whatever reason. Like all of them cats that got killed in the bunker by Cobra Commander, like they were dead for 100 issues or so. Remember when he brought the volcano down on it? Was Serpentor, Zartan, Firefly, all the guys that betrayed him, Mindbender, when they built Serpentor. And also Larry Hama hated Serpentor, hated the character completely. So when Cobra Commander came back in the Fred the Seventh armor, that silver battle suit, he fucking killed everybody that turned against him and just buried them in a freighter under a volcano. So remember, those guys were dead until Hasbro wanted to re-up some figures, and they told Marvel, and then Marvel was like, "Hey, you got to bring these guys back." Yeah. Larry was still not too happy with that idea.
I mean, and that's how they ended up. I mean, ultimately at the end, they ended up making Storm Shadow, obviously Cobra wiping his mind, corrupting him, actually making him the legit villain. Because at some point they were just like, you can't have your yin and yang be of the same side. You have to split the two. But I enjoyed the run where Storm Shadow was very much just like, that's my brother. I'll do whatever I need to for Snake Eyes.
I think he's a good guy again, unless he's dead. I haven't read the comics since Snake Eyes was killed. Since the original Snake Eyes was killed.
Not in every iteration were Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow the yin and the yang.
Right.
When the cartoon first started, it was Spirit and Storm Shadow.
Right.
They were each other's arch nemesis or whatever the hell you.
That's because Snake Eyes wasn't really a ninja in the beginning. He wasn't mad spiritual at first. He was just a commando with an Uzi and a bomb pack. Nothing more.
Yep. That's exactly what I was reading, and that's why I was kind of just like, part of me was like, Pete would have preferred some of that to be in this movie rather than what we.
I would have preferred anything of that to be in the movie.
So let's get into this, JD. I'm gonna start off with you, man. Your thoughts on this Snake Eyes movie?
6.5 out of 10, and that's just barely making it. I wanted to like it more than I did like it. It had its faults. Storytelling wise, I understand they had to hit certain notes for Hasbro. Yo, Joe. Best line in the movie here. I know that was Pete's favorite. I understand needing to rehash things for a new generation. I understand the generation coming up is going to see this differently. I liked Baroness more than I liked Scarlet. I did like Henry Golding. I did like Andrew Koji.
Okay, I like to say, don't forget his name.
I liked Grandma a lot. I wish I got a Grandma figure in 3 3/4 inches. Kenta, I wish they tied those parts into a little bit more of the Joe mythology. Zartan or Firefly being snuck in there. I didn't get my wish of seeing Stalker or having a Stalker association in there at all. Storytelling, if it wasn't Snake Eyes, I would have liked it more. If it wasn't tied into G.I. Joe, I would have liked it more. But with all that being said, I know I'm going to watch that movie with my 9-year-old nephew, and he is going to go bananas. He's going to love it. he's going to think that's the best thing since sliced bread. And I'm going to feel okay watching that with him because he's going to get a ninja story, unlike Ninja the Assassin, where the ninja splits everybody in half and you got to see their kibbles and bits. It's not a rated R flick. I don't see unnecessary TNA.
T or A is never unnecessary.
It's not, but I'm going to be watching him, with a recently turned 9-year-old.
Perfect time. Perfect. I was watching Jason movies at 5 and I turned out okay.
So based on that, being able to show the kids something, hang out with them, watch it, and have them go, oh, this is cool. Just like I thought when I saw Krull. This will be that moment with him. So to watch it with a kid is going to be okay. To watch it with myself again, with all my nostalgic cues that didn't get tagged, but it's not for me. It's not for me anymore, right? It's going to be for the next generation that comes up, dude.
Well, I will say that I literally leaned over and told Joel this would have gotten a 9 from me if it had ended with him being burned and the suit being something to
Oh, we're giving spoilers? We're giving spoilers?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Oh, I didn't like the fucking snakes at all, man.
Okay, so go back into it, JD. Yeah, spoiler alert for anybody. It came out. It came out last.
Snakes at all, right? Did anybody watch Hot Tub Time Machine?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember how throughout the whole movie the guys kept trying to figure out how the dad from Back to the Future lost his arm, and every time there was that moment, they were like,
yeah.
That's how I was with Snake Eyes, waiting for him to get scarred up or something. I was like, oh, it's gonna happen here. Oh, he's gonna get his face disfigured. Oh, he's gonna get his throat cut. Oh, it's gonna happen here. Oh, and I felt like that, because that goes part and parcel with who he is. You don't give Wolverine without his claws, or that shitty ass mullet hair spike thing that he's got. So to not have that on Snake Eyes pop up was just that was a letdown for me, because that's why he wears the mask. That's who he is, not a motorcycle helmet.
Yes, I agree. And I honestly would have taken, if they went Henry Golding's character was more so the wisecracking kind of guy that kind of just talks too much. And then you kind of get something towards the end of, if you maybe stop talking, maybe you could focus a little bit more.
Okay.
And then it kind of leans into the idea of him, maybe wanting to take the vow of silence.
So you wanted him to be reverse Deadpool?
Essentially, yes.
Deadpool, no one liked that Deadpool?
Yes, exactly, because here's the difference. That Deadpool is supposed to talk, but he didn't. Our Snake Eyes is not supposed to talk, but he did. So it's like, yes, I kind of would have preferred that.
I'd rather if he got disfigured and lost his voice than him taking a vow of silence.
Right.
Well, no,
right.
I mean, a vow of silence to me, I appreciate that more because it's the idea of I could talk, but I'm not going to.
I'm with Joel. Losing his voice or losing his accent, which he did many times in the movie, would have been very appreciative.
He didn't even get fucking laryngitis. I would have fucking took that.
Just nothing. But I mean, I will say, like I said, the ending is what really put it off for me. I enjoyed this movie for what it was. Joel said he went back and watched the first 2 G.I. Joes. I went back and watched Batman Begins because that's exactly what I compare this to, on a level of there were moments in that I just didn't really feel like that was Batman to me. It didn't feel like that was Ra's al Ghul to me. Yeah, you can't mute me because but I like that. But no, there were elements of Batman Begins that if you just strip it to just enjoying it for what it was completely fine. But then you go deeper into what the fuck was up with the voice. Like, I did not like the costume. Ra's al Ghul could have been done better. So
it's not about Batman Begins, it's about Snake Eyes.
Not about Batman.
I was saying that my issues with Snake Eyes are more so of the same thing. To where if you strip it, it was good for what it was. Absolutely. I don't think this was a horrible movie. This is a great action movie, and it's what I keep telling people. I enjoyed the action. It's only the disservice to Snake Eyes that ruined it. This would have been a way better, a way more enjoyable project if you called it Arashikage and it was about Storm Shadow, and Snake Eyes was the secondary character of it. That way, even if you want to say it again,
or co-leads.
No, I mean, because if you make not Storm Shadow, I'm sorry. If you make Snake Eyes the secondary character, whatever you choose to do with him, it's not really focused on, because this could be something that's just so early on. But when you add in the additions of Scarlet, the Joes, and everything, you think, well, when he joins the Joes, he literally is masked up, no talking. So you ending it to where he's going to join the Joes down the line is just like, I don't really no. like no. You know, so to me, I leave this off as I pass this to you, Pete. I leave this off, and I was telling JD, even if we didn't like it, I just ask that we try to support it, because if this doesn't work, it will be impossible to sell anybody on literally anybody else.
Right. And that's what I said many times before. Before we get to Pete, I would like to ask Pete to raise his forearm for a second, please. And show the world where your dedication lies to the Arishikage. All right. Apparently we've been saying it wrong all these years.
We just don't have the accent. I think if we try the accent, it's racist.
Yeah, I'm cool with Arishikage.
Now I feel like a jerk.
I'm fucking with you, man.
Because here I am watching this Netflix show, and I'm going about afterwards. Hey, did you guys watch Yasuke? And they're trying to find Yasuke, and I'm like, no, there's a U in there. They're like, well, you didn't tell me. You just said Yasuke. You know, so I'm going with the authenticity, man.
I know. I'm fucking with you.
Chicago.
The Japanese language just puts the emphasis on the other syllable. That's all.
That's true.
I love the way they say it, though. It's really with so much emphasis and so much anger, even though when they're not angry, it's amazing.
Or so you think. But look at Pete's dedication to this, right? Out of our group, he has every right to be angry because he's dedicated a portion of his body to this.
I named my dog Timber, for God's sakes.
No, I mean, look. That's why I said not liking it. I could understand that 10 times over. I 100% understand that. There are projects I'm very passionate about. You need to hit it. And if you don't hit it, I hate it. So I get where you're coming from. I'm just saying, I think Joel, is starting to try to get into G.I. Joe. But the three of us, we love G.I. Joe. There is a whole there's two full generations that have no idea what the fucking G.I. Joe is. So if you can't sell it now, I don't want there to be 4 generations that have no idea what the fucking G.I. Joe is. So I'm like, if we could just get this off the ground and start to do a Hawk movie or a G.I. Joe movie, and then just try to build properly from there. I
understand your logic, but at the same time, to me, that's sort of like defending Common Core math and saying, well, we're just going to teach all of these little motherfuckers wrong. So this way, otherwise there would just be no math and no one would know what numbers are completely. So it's like, do we support it, but it's wrong? Like, it's actually wrong?
Look at it like this, Pete. Outside of the cartoons, think of the gap from when the cartoons first started, right? To when we got our first live action movie. How long that was. And then think about from when the last one was to when the Snake Eyes movie is. So clearly the people over there understand it's a very niche audience, and they keep trying.
And they didn't cater to that niche at all. They actually took like a fucking spiked Lucille bat and said, "Hey, fuck all you guys," and stuck it right in our ass.
Wow. So wait, so as you go into your review, Pete, let me just ask you this.
Yeah.
Let's start with some good.
I have like 1 or 2 good things to say.
I was just about to say, can we get into maybe something you did enjoy?
You want me to go good first and then bad? I figured you want to end it on a happy note.
Yeah, I prefer that. Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we can flip it then. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I can honestly say it's been a long, long time since I have angry watched something, and I use that like as a hyphenated word to angry watch. But that's what happened to me. And if I can take an aside for a second, I really like YouTube for its educational purposes. I watch dumb shit, sure, we all do, but I like to watch smart stuff, outer space stuff and sciencey things, and I also like numbers. I like big numbers and stuff. And when I'm high or drunk, I like to learn shit. And I learned about this number beyond, like, there's a Google with 100 zeros, there's a Googleplex, which you can't even write down because there's not enough like atoms in the universe for you to fucking write it on. That's how big this thing is. And then there's numbers even bigger than that. And there's a number that I found out called Graham's number, and it's just so large. The number is so huge that there are not enough neurons in your brain to comprehend the magnitude of this number. Because if you try, like, our brains just get to a point, then they're like, it's big, and they stop. Because if our brains tried to actually comprehend the magnitude of this, and these number scientists were very adamant about this, that your brain would actually physically, no hyperbole here, would physically collapse into a black hole. And my anger towards this movie was actually beyond that fucking number. I'm sitting there like, yeah, after 10 minutes of absolute horse shit of a beginning movie, like, okay, I get it. You're actually working for this, this Japanese crime guy, and that's why you're getting close to Storm Shadow. But for the first 25 minutes or half hour, I'm led to believe that you just threw your whole career away. Not that it's much of a career. You're fucking slicing up fish and throwing Uzis into it. But you team up with Storm Shadow because you looked in his eyes and you saw honor and honesty. Fuck the fuck off. Their relationship is something you can only get as brothers of war. That's it. Or at the very least, fucking guys who trained in a dojo together, for fucking hell's sake. But after a 10 to 15 minute trash opening, there was a very brief respite where I thought, I'm going to have a cool movie here. And I will speak more on the positive highlights later, where I did very much enjoy the scenes in the Arashikage dojo, the training sequences that he went through with the blind master and the hard master. Very much like that. And as Jay just put it a moment ago, then the giant snakes showed up. Yeah. And that's when you lost me, and everything just snowballed into an avalanche of horse shit down a hill. And I literally just watched like the whole thing tank. I would have accepted the first part if the giant fucking snakes, and they weren't even cobras. Come on! The fucking bad guys are called cobras.
Wait, Pete, I will say this. I love Joel. When we left, Joel's just like, is that a real thing they did? And it's like, no.
The Arashikage had nothing to do with snakes. There was never anything about it. I hated the fact that they were all calling him Snake, like he's their best friend. Like, no, it's fucking, first of all, his name's Snake Eyes, or you could call him Hammerhead. I don't give a shit. Nobody called him Snake except for Scarlet. That was it. And just, Grandma was awesome. Grandma was dope. And I did not like Snake Eyes being like the bad guy, being the traitorous scumbag. And the fact that he betrayed him like 17 and a half times, and then they're still like, hey, here's our cool uniform, and here's all our fucking magic secrets, and here's your fucking stupid electric motorcycle. Those things sound like shit. Sound worse than a fucking regular Japanese motorcycle.
I didn't like the mask thing coming down either. Like, I don't know why people are so addicted to tech savvy suits. Yeah. Snake Eyes is such a practical dude. It's like
pull the mask over, got a visor, whatever.
That's it. It's a sword. It's a sword and guns. That's it. There's no tech involved.
There's a magic fucking stone that has nothing to do with G.I. Joe lore. Anything. Drop me a name. We found it in the fucking Himalayas. Okay, cool. Maybe that could be Cobra La. Since we're already on some dumbass shit with some giant snakes, let's fucking throw Cobra La and Galobulus into this. Why the fuck not? Because we've already
that would have been cool.
It would have at least made a shred of sense.
I'll even say this. If the whole point was to frame Snake Eyes to get the artifact, right? to me, why not use that opportunity to bring in Zartan, right?
Yes.
And then have that be the big reveal at the end where Baroness is talking to somebody and it looks like it's Snake Eyes. And you're like, damn, he's still working with them? That's stupid. And then he reveals himself to be Zartan, and it's like,
would have been cool. Would have been cool with that.
He was innocent this whole time. Now now Storm Shadow wants him dead. The Arashikage don't really trust him.
And like you have a change of heart at the very end of the movie. Towards the end of the movie, that's the climax. Like, oh, you realize you fucked up, and you let the one guy live that you should have fucking eviscerated. Like, there was no reason. He still killed your dad, bro. Fucking cut that motherfucker's knees off.
Hold on. I won't even say that bothered me. I think what bothered me the most was once the dude said, when Cobra calls, you answer. He didn't even question the guy of, wait, why? Why does Cobra want my dad? Why did they want my dad?
Nothing at all. Nothing.
It was just like,
how about who's Cobra?
Huh?
Well, at that point, he kind of knew who Cobra was. That he had met the Baroness already.
Right.
Listen, it wasn't a creative decision at all. It was Hasbro's decision, right? And listening to Simon Waters, who oversees consumer products at Hasbro Studios, said the company wants to take a more millennial approach.
And nobody fucking likes millennials. Nobody likes millennials. I don't fucking consider myself one. I'm a Zennial, the last bit of Generation X and the fucking only part of millennial. I know, Juwaan. I know. I see you pointing at you. I'm not blind.
What are you, Juwaan?
I'm a millennial.
What's that?
I know, and nobody's perfect. I like you, but you're not going to be. You're not perfect.
That falls between what, Libra and Aries or some shit?
Anyway, no, I mean,
first of all, I'm a Capricorn. I don't get along with any Arieses. They're all fucking psychotic.
like I will always say, catering to people who already don't know about your product is never the right way to go. If you make a movie that appeals to people that actually know and enjoy the characters, we will be what gets them interested in everything else. I will just say this purely because I can only speak on what I know. Me and Joel come across at least hundreds of people that have no idea about Marvel or DC that ask a billion questions a day. They refuse to pick up a book, turn on a YouTube channel, any of that. They'd rather ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
That's
true.
what mainstream is. They don't want to do any of the work. So when you try to cater to them, they already don't care.
Right.
So it's like, what are you catering to? They don't give a shit.
So playing off of that, which I fully agree with you, and I'm guilty of the same thing. I would rather ask the question of someone than try to look it up myself, because honestly, even nowadays, you look something up on Google and you're going to get 6 websites where you can go buy something related to it before you actually come across the damn answer you're looking for. It might even be on that fabled second page of Google search, which I've heard exists but never have seen. I'd rather ask somebody, yo, could you explain this to me, whether it's a joke or meme, whatever, or a reference? Tell me about it. And by them not catering to that niche audience that we just spoke about, the people like us who love G.I. Joe, if this was an accurate Snake Eyes movie, at this point, him being fucking Asian takes a backseat to the rest of my complaints about this movie. Lastly, obviously, the other major complaint to end on it before I come right back to this point is, yes, just like all of you said, your man's got a magic sunstone that makes fire, and nobody fucking Hadoukens the shit out of Snake Eyes to make him the scarred, silent individual that we all know and love. So by not catering to that niche audience, that like, if this was an accurate or as accurate as you could possibly get, you change his fucking race, who cares at this point? He's got so many other problems. You make an accurate Snake Eyes movie, the rest of us are going to be sitting there in the theater like, oh my God, this is better than Viagra. Please stop. My penis can only get so erect. Hold this while I explain to you how amazing this is. That's the kind of, like, we're the fucking audience.
Thank God that shit didn't happen.
Listen, you're lucky I didn't have any popcorn. We cut the hole in the bottom of the bag. But it wouldn't have happened anyway with this fucking flick. I'll tell you that much right now. But like, all joking aside, we would have been the free advertising for this movie if it was good. people would have been like, yo, what's up with this Snake Eyes flick? Like my buddy, I texted him like, yo, Snake Eyes was awful. I hated it. He's like, is that the new Marvel movie? Now, he knows it's a comic book flick and people default to Marvel movies. If this was a good flick, I'd have gone into a diatribe explaining to him why this is a fantastic flick and why Snake Eyes is awesome and why I got this fucking tattoo on my goddamn arm and, you know, all of this stuff. Instead, I'm just like, nah, it's not. It's a comic book flick, but it's a Marvel movie. Don't worry, you didn't miss anything. And that's it. Like, I don't have a reason to waste my time texting and explain it to somebody that doesn't know it, why it's bad. Just gonna tell you, don't waste your time. But if I loved it, I'm going to sit there and tell you every nuanced thing that I loved about it, that I love about the character, and that I love about the entire, not genre, the entire property, the IP that is G.I. Joe.
Right.
Obviously, I love G.I. Joe, and I always will. Oh, wrong way. Forgot the thing's opposite. You know? And that's where I think they went wrong. Is people who say, "Oh, they don't have to cater to us. It's not for us. It should be for us because we're the ones who are going to take our nieces, nephews, sons, and daughters." I don't care. G.I. Joe's not a boy's toy, and it never really was. It was.
Also, can I speak to the idea of they don't make it for us? I've heard people say that about Marvel movies, like, "Oh, relax, they don't make it for us." But here's my issue with that. You do make it for us because we know what the fuck Iron Man is. Iron Man was never a truly big enough character that mainstream just knows him, right? He's not the Hulk. He's not Spider-Man. He's not the X-Men, especially Wolverine.
And you can just stop right there because at that point, playing off of that, when Thor was coming out, like before the Avengers, I'm like, they're gonna do a Thor movie. How good is that gonna be?
Right.
Like how well? Not even I knew I would love it, but like how well is that gonna carry with mainstream audiences?
Right.
I was wrong, but still.
But that's why I said it is made for us. Now there are elements of it that they kind of put towards like kids with the bright lights, and the action sequences and whatnot. But it is essentially made for comic book fans. It's why Kevin Feige is at the head of it, and Disney's not just running it on their own. They put someone who's passionate about it at the head of it to lure in people that are fans. Now, when you look at a Snake Eyes movie, to make this movie for anybody outside of your fan base is idiotic. Again, there's not even a current G.I. Joe cartoon on now.
Right.
Who do you think knows about G.I. Joe enough to even know who Snake Eyes is? So it's like you clearly weren't appealing to them. So why not appeal to? And like I said, we said this leaving the theater. I don't want to say this as if I believe it, but it seems like it. It does seem like in all those interviews, Larry Hama was just saying what the cue cards asked him to say.
It's a shame, yes.
If I had $1 for every time the word silent interlude were said, and the fact that we ended this movie with no silent interlude is frustrating. To have had a final battle scene that is in all silence to lend to the arc where there was no words, it was just action, would have been breathtaking, because it's like, damn, it's just building on that, and then you get to the moment, of course, he gets burned or something happens to his throat, can't talk. So to me, they made a decision with Henry Golding that this is their leading guy. They want to ride him to the cows come home. So he's going to talk. It's essentially their way of saying, guys, get over the shit. He's gonna talk. But to us, it's hard to support you
because it's not Snake. It's simply not the character. It's not him.
Right. And that's why I said, Pete, for this Halo show, Master Chief never takes off his helmet. Mm-hmm. So you casting Pablo Schreiber, who's a pretty attractive guy, lets me know you're taking the helmet off. That irks me. There's something about if a person creates a character a certain way, he did it for a reason. Let's just feed into that. There's nothing wrong with just using the voice of Pablo Schreiber.
I agree.
Keeping the mask on.
Fully agree.
So what you're saying, it's like we didn't need a Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie because you don't need to know who the fuck the Joker is.
Let me just say this. I've been reading Batman comics for as long as I can remember. I've never once finished the book and said, damn, I wonder what made Joker like this. Never. I don't give a fuck. He's a bad guy. I don't need to know your origin. You're a bad guy. That's all I need to know. That's
it was the Joker notwithstanding, because I did like the fact that the clocks weren't moving and it was all in his head. So was it his origin? Was it not? Who knows? It was all in his head. So
no, you know why the clocks weren't moving? That's a set design decision.
Yeah, because it was all in his head.
When you're the clocks were always set at a certain time, so that way, whenever they would cut scenes and splice it together, you didn't have the clocks moving 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock.
Don't fucking ruin this for me, Jay. Don't.
No, it's 100%.
I have reasoned that the clocks were not moving because it was all in his head. Because if he's going to have an origin, he prefers it to be multiple choice, Jay.
Let me flip it to the other side.
I mean, aren't I insane enough today? Like, don't ruin this for me.
if you let the clocks move and you have a very erratic cut sequence, it's going to look like that you're going out of time.
No,
that's the other part of the.
No, I refuse to accept that, Jay.
Well, I tell you what, Pete, if I go with your logic of it was all in his head, right? And by the way, for our listeners, the director did say it's left up to us. It's a Sopranos kind of thing. It's left for us to kind of fill in the blanks of was it real, or if it wasn't. I will say I would lend to you, Pete, of it not being real if they weren't trying so fucking hard to do a sequel.
Yeah, the sequel I'm not happy about.
Right, exactly. So now that you want to do a sequel, that lets me know, again, once you sign on Firepower,
now you're going to fuck it up.
Firepower. So that's why I said, it's the first thing I said to Joel when they casted Henry Golding. They're not going to have someone like Henry Golding not talk and not show his face. They're just not. You know,
there's obviously only one thing left for us true fans to do. And that's jump Henry Golding and hit him with a brick in his face until he looks like Snake Eyes and shouldn't be on screen anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
And let me say this, Pete, before you.
We at GVN and Pete's Basement do not actually advocate jumping actors and bludgeoning them with bricks.
Not at all. Not at all.
No, there's a few actors I'm ready to jump.
Let me say this before you finish up and we pass it to Joel to end this on this. There's a lot of people that keep saying, "What's the big deal? Who cares that he didn't have the mask on? What's the big deal?" I will tell you this. Have you ever in your life seen a Batman movie where he fought crime without a cowl?
Yes. Yes.
What Batman movie did you see? The whole movie?
Yeah, what were you
watching? The whole movie? No, yeah, but the third act.
No. I'm talking he was without a mask in this whole movie. So I'm saying it's the equivalent.
You saw Michael Keaton rip the shit off the top.
That was still a great scene. What? Bruce Wayne? Why are you dressed as Batman? Because he is Batman, you dummy.
Moron. That's what I want to try to get. That's what I want to try to get across to people. It'd be like if Bruce Wayne literally fought crime all over.
Not a fight.
No cow. With no cow. That's why we take issue with Snake Eyes not being in a mask.
You know what? To those people, I say this movie wasn't for you. You shouldn't have. Oh, how the turntables!
Oh, how the turntables! Yes, huge shouts out to Michael Scott.
Yes.
But did you want to say anything?
I did.
Yeah, go ahead.
My favorite scene was, and I would screw the guy's name up, but the dude from The Raid playing the Hard Master, he was fantastic. And the scene where he had to go through that first trial, I really liked. And he had to take the water from him without spilling it. And, he kept getting his ass handed to him. And then finally at the end, he was like, I humbly request that I trade my bowl of water for yours. I really liked that scene. Like that to me was very chi, very martial artsy, like old school style. And I was like, all right, that was the moment where I'm like, this is going to be a cool movie. Then, like I said, then the fucking giant snakes showed up, and that was all ruined for me. And I wish I would have smuggled in my fucking flask of whiskey like I usually am prone to do during movies, but I did not, which was foolish of me.
Yes.
Foolish, amateur mistake. And that's all I have to say about that.
So, as I pass it to Joel, let me ask you this: what were your thoughts on Andrew Koji's performance as Storm Shadow?
I liked it. I would have liked thank you. You just reminded me of one last thing that I have to complain about. The entire movie gets summed up in the very last stinger scene in the credits, where the Baroness shows up inexplicably as the stewardess on Storm Shadow's private plane. He's on his private ass rich motherfucker plane. And she gives him a bottle of Johnny Walker Black. This is a $40 bottle of whiskey. And it is some of the most garbage whiskey you could ever drink. You're on a private ass plane and you're telling me that fridge is stocked with Johnny Black? Like, even if Johnny Walker is paying for that advertisement, you couldn't at least get a bottle of gold? Forget blue. You don't want to spend $1.50? Get a bottle of $80 gold. At least it tastes good.
Black? How about double black? Double black.
I've never actually had double black, so I can't speak on it. But I know red and black are garbage. Gold is really good. I find blue to be too expensive. Green is good if you can find it, but green's hard to find. Nevertheless, the whole thing was... That's how I feel about drinking Johnny Black. That's how I feel about drinking most blended scotches, but let's not go there. It's a different show. The whole movie got summed up for me in that bottle, in that one fucking scene with the bottle of whiskey.
I will say I thought it was weird regardless, because Storm Shadow just really didn't seem like a drinker. He didn't really seem like a guy.
He doesn't, but he did seem like he was kind of really losing his cool, losing his mind by the end of it, so I accepted that. I would have liked... I like Andrew Kodian. I like his choreography. I would have liked a better delivery at the end, where he was like, Storm Shadow, call me Storm Shadow. Like, how about you tell the non-fans in the audience or the non-Japanese speaking people in the audience that Arashikage actually translates exactly to Storm Shadow?
Yep.
Like, how about you tell him Storm Shadow, Arashikage means Storm Shadow. And that's there you go. There's the line.
I'm glad you said that, because when he was teaching Snake about the history of the Arashikage, he could have at least hinted to it has a deeper meaning. And then he could have said to the Baroness, because of my bloodline, call me, I go by Storm Shadow. And then we as fans would have been like, oh, great, they're alluding to Arashikage actually meaning Storm Shadow.
It does. Like, it's not made up. That's what it means.
Right, exactly. So I mean, again, like I said, the choreography to me is what I keep telling people to go see it for. Because I don't know many people that know G.I. Joe really or really care about it. So I keep telling them it's great choreography. The choreography is not bad. So go check it out for that. And again, for the Storm Shadow part of it, it's not a bad story. It's just they do so many tweaks with Snake Eyes. It's like it's unrecognizable. Him being dishonorable is just like, I don't even recall ever reading that. Him being dishonorable to
Not
that
in the least.
level.
Not in the least.
It's just that was a stretch, man.
He was one of those guys who would do what it took to get a job done. Like you said, he's not above just shooting people with Uzis or blowing something up. Whatever. It's very American when it comes to that. But
You know what? And I'm gonna pass this to you, Joel. You know what Snake Eyes reminds me of? Remember the scene at the end of Batman Hush, the animated movie? I know it's obviously clearly the comics too, but at the end where he's trying to save Hush, and Catwoman's just like, "Fuck it, let him go, let him die," and he was explaining to her that no one is above trying to change them. There has to be a line, because once I cross it, how am I not a bad guy also? Just killing for the hell of it. So to me, I put Snake in that same box to where he does have a line. There is a line that separates what Storm Shadow does and what Snake Eyes does. Because if Snake Eyes just randomly was just going out killing whoever he wanted, he's Storm Shadow. So to me, it's the idea of there has to be a semblance of a good guy and a bad guy. But if you make your good guy dishonorable, who am I rooting for here? And that's what I kept feeling in this movie of like, well, shouldn't I be rooting for Storm Shadow? Because if Snake Eyes never did that, Storm Shadow never becomes who he's going.
Storm Shadow, right?
Right. So it's like, that's why it was just a weird. It's why it should have been Zartan pretending to be Snake Eyes, and it would have made more sense, because you could have said, well, Snake still has his honor, and we get Zartan, and we know it was a kind of bait and switch, and we could have accepted that. But just having him be dishonorable would be like, I don't know, Batman stabbing somebody. He's just like, what the fuck?
It makes me think of that meme where, you know, they're in the board meeting and the one guy in the back is like, hey, how about if we make it Zartan? And he gets thrown out the window.
Right. Because you know somebody in that writer's room was just like, we can use Zartan. Get out.
Yeah, you're fired.
You're fired. Get out. Pack your bags. Get out. But Joel, is
give me a power bar on your way out.
Right. Is someone who is familiar with Snake Eyes, but is really kind of getting into the whole world of G.I. Joe. Your thoughts on this movie, and does this make you interested in seeing stuff going forward, or would you kind of rather them take a break and just reshuffle the whole deck again?
Well, I obviously don't know any of this shit until after the fact. I watched this movie. I watched the movie. I didn't know what was going on. I just was taking it all in as I was watching it. And I enjoyed it. You know, I enjoyed it. It was a ninja movie with ninjas in it, and swords and guns, and so the parts that were fun. The sets were fun. The choreography was fun. I didn't mind the giant snakes. I figured that was a thing that you guys were into. I had no idea that they weren't. I didn't think much about
we're
it.
into that. I was like, yeah, they're into that.
Giant snakes. I just thought that was a thing. The whole thing with the glowy stone, I didn't know that was not a thing either. I didn't know that. That's not part of the story. I don't know why they even added it if it was not part of it. Well, whatever.
Same here.
The characters were fine. A lot of the acting was fine for me too, for the most part. And you know, as I got through the movie though, my biggest issues, like it wasn't perfect. Like it dragged sometimes for me. Like the movie, there were moments in the middle where it was like, well, picked up a little quicker. And I did not like, because we're spoiling it. He literally, the costume, the Snake Eyes costume, the character I liked as a kid was at the end of the movie, and I didn't get to see him fight with that costume at all. Like at all. Like the whole, so as a fan of the look of the character, the last time I saw him do that in the full costume was in the last two G.I. Joe movies this weekend. Like,
you know what's frustrating about what you're saying, Joel? In all the promotional stuff for Snake Eyes right now that the movie's out, is of him holding the sword in the suit, slashing down.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, wait, so the premise of him fighting in the suit is there.
Yeah, it's misleading. But you know what? The advertising in the beginning always had him with the mask off, and we would bitch. But then we realized there's a reason, because he never really ever puts the mask on until the very end of the movie. And we didn't know that, but they can't sell that because, you know, people would bitch about that. Mm-hmm. Like that was not really well thought out. Also, like, he's a grown man learning ninjutsu. I didn't know that made too much sense. It didn't seem like he had a lot of time to learn anything. Like I liked the idea of him going in there and learning stuff, but I just felt like as an older person, I found it weird. It just felt like he was too old to be learning.
Well, I mean, to the point of that, they also didn't. And again, this would have been cheesy, I know, but at least it would have paid off. He never really also implemented anything he learned. So, like, as he was getting his ass kicked towards the end of the movie, it was never an instance of him implementing anything he was just taught in the course of
aside from using the sword, because that's all he was. He would use the sword the whole time. But he's like, once he got the sword, he's like, I don't need to use anything else. I'm good.
I don't need technique. I'll just swing.
I know how to cut people up now. It's all good. I do like the fact that it was all still a secret, like his whole background. I still don't know what the fuck. Between him being a kid and him becoming a part of the Arashikage, no fucking idea what's going on in between. He was a little fisher. He was a fisherman, I guess, at one point. So, and then he became part of the Yakuza for a small part. Okay, fine. I do like that there was a mystery there. Like, everything's a mystery. His name is actually Snake Eyes. He doesn't have an actual name. I appreciate that, right? It's still a mystery. He's still a mystery man. But and I appreciate that they kept all of that. But my problem with it is just that the way it was implemented afterwards, like, we should have got the payoff of him getting scarred and losing his voice or whatever the fuck, but we didn't. And obviously, by that point, you realize, well, yeah, they're trying to make sequels with this man, and he's not going to sign on if you're not going to see his face or hear him talk. What's the point? You don't need a big actor for Snake Eyes. That's why they got a stuntman in the first two G.I. Joe movies, and that's why they should have went with a stuntman now and went with like a partner of him whether it was Scarlet or someone else, as the big focus vocally. And he's not second in man, but he is kind of a co-star because he's silent. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's weird, but it's true. He's almost like the pet. He's not gonna. He's just there. He's gonna enhance. I don't know. It's really hard to explain, and it's why it's a movie that's hard to pull off because the main you usually have to connect with your main protagonist, and if he doesn't talk, or you don't see his face ever, it's tough. You know. And I would love to see them try. I think it's possible. I don't know. A whole movie that way would be tough, but that's why you give them a strong supporting cast. You know.
But I mean, I'll also say it's why, like, I don't think any of us ever walked into this movie going, however it ends, we want a sequel. Because to me, that's how it works. Snake Eyes should not be on his own. It should be part of a group always. If you want to establish Snake Eyes in an origin, cool, but end it with him scarred, losing his voice, and then the next time we see him is with Scarlet, is with the rest of the Joes. That's how it works. That's how, because remember, they sold the last two movies off of Snake Eyes. All the promotional was Snake Eyes and The Rock. It was between those two. So to me, you could easily sell him. The look is there. You can sell
handled very well in the second. If anything, that was the standout of the movie. The way they used Snake Eyes in the second G.I. Joe movie was perfect.
Agreed.
He looked good and he was handled perfectly.
And honestly, I loved that part with, even though they kind of redid his silent treatment as a vow of silence, like, all right. But, when there was that dialogue with him and Storm Shadow, and it was very obviously one-sided, you went after me because you thought I killed our master, and you never even asked me. Like, you just assumed. I liked that. Like, okay, I didn't appreciate the vow of silence twist, but if we're going to go that route, that's good, because at least in the comics, that's what he did. He went after Storm Shadow because he thought he killed him out of jealousy. You never even asked him. Okay, I'll bite.
Even in the cartoon where Duke was asking him, like, how did you know it was the real me? Like when Zartan was pretending to be Duke. And Snake Eyes just kind of puts his hand over his heart, and Scarlet just steps up and goes, he knew from your heartbeat. Like, I like shit like that. So where he talks with action, and then Scarlet just comes in and goes, weirdly, I just know what the fuck he's saying. So it's like, it's because he knew. Connection. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. But that was another problem I had, and I'm going to pass it back to you to finish up, Joel. But it seemed like I know Pete and JD, you guys kept saying, like, well, clearly they're going to work out the relationship with Scarlet. But it really felt like he had a relationship with Kimiko. Like they were going that route. Like those two were going to be together. And that's why I'm like, your whole purpose of Scarlet being in this movie made no sense.
None at all.
If she's not going to be the love interest that it pays off, why was she the recruiter? Why did you put Hawk in here? You know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't.
She had a line. She had a line that got to me at the end when they revealed his connection to the Joe team and stuff like that. And she was like, we couldn't get him out. I'm like, bitch, you weren't old enough to be part of the fucking team that got
right, yeah. What are you, a fucking fetus in camo?
But I mean, like, it makes, like, to me, it's just frustrating because it's the same thing with the Loki show using Renslayer. It's like, well, you literally could have used anyone else. If you're using her, I assume it has something to do with Kang. So we got to wait to see the payoff. But it's like, here, why was she here if it wasn't to set up the relationship she has with Snake Eyes? It's the weirdest thing.
Temporary truce. Had you showed me that she was doing more to track down Baroness, okay, but that seemed like it wasn't even a plot line that was dangled. You know what I mean? It was like they both exist here.
Right.
No, give me a reason for her to say truce. Because other than that,
and they seemed very friendly.
That was like another forced girl power scene with her grandma and the Baroness. I'm like, come on.
But you know what? You know what I didn't like, Pete? I didn't like how they kind of chickened out. You show the three of them, and it's kind of like, oh shit, we're about to have a dope moment. And you
just cut the scene completely.
In a way, it's like, bro, come on, shit or get off the pot. Either set it up and show us, or just don't even give us that. Don't even.
And then they come back to it like, hey, y'all come look at this before I flush it.
Right, and it's just like, bro,
the
like,
whole,
come on, man.
One of them was refilling the other one's fucking, cartridge, in the gun, and it's just like, no. Do they work together that they know how to be in sync in such a way?
That's why I said they seem so, like when she said, all right, truce, it didn't seem hesitant, like both of them didn't really want to do it. It seemed more just like, truce, yeah, I remember we used to be friends. Okay, truce, I can trust you.
Right, onesies, yeah, frenzies.
What the fuck? Like, what? Yeah. But anyway, I'm sorry, Joel. Go ahead.
No,
you have anything else?
Not much. I mean, it's like I said, I don't know a lot about it.
But you loved it. You loved the flick.
I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. But I definitely watched like I said, I watched the first 2 G.I. Joe movies this weekend, and first one is really bad. The second one is I actually liked it more this time around than I did even the first time in theaters. I didn't like it at all coming out in theaters, but I watched it again recently, and I'm like, I guess it was not as bad as I thought. I still have a lot of issues with it, like why use characters and not try to make them look more like their character. I don't understand that. Like, why use Flint and not have him look more like Flint? Like, he has the hat. He always wears the hat. And same thing with Jay. Like, why not have her wear the hat? They never fucking wear hats once. They have fucking Hawk look more like Flint.
There you go.
Why would you do that?
Pete, you're training him well.
or the fact that the first movie sets up you developing Duke, and then you kill him in the first time. And here's the worst part. You don't even have an end credit scene where it turns out Cobra Commander has him or Baroness has him or something along. So as far as we're concerned, if you did a third movie, Duke is dead.
It was dead. Channing Tatum didn't want to do it.
What the fuck?
That's why there was never a sequel. Where's the problem? That second movie almost totally forgot there was a first movie.
Yes, that was the problem. Yeah. Oh, man.
It was a soft reboot.
Yeah, basically.
It was. And you know what's even more frustrating? Once you casted The Rock, it looked as though they were going the route of Roadblock being the leader of the Joes.
That's what it was at the end. Roadblock was the leader of the Joes throughout the whole movie.
Sure, you're going to see that happen again when The Rock takes over the DCEU.
As Black Adam.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. He's going to be the villain in Wonder Woman. He's going to be the villain in Aquaman. He's going to be the villain in Shazam. He's spreading. He's coming everywhere. But all right. So, I mean, I think the moral of the story is we had a lot of issues with this movie. But again, I will always say the strongest thing of this movie was its action sequences. And if you're a fan of just action movies, if I'll say this, if you can go into a Fast and Furious movie and walk out and go, I had fun, you can go into this movie and walk out and at least go, with the action sequences, I had fun. So that's all I'm saying. For people who are not aware of the actual characters and how they should and should not be portrayed, just go have fun with it. It is fun. And go support Andrew Koji. We need to see him in more movies. So outside of that, I would just say, watch it for yourself.
Besides that, I want to add one thing while we're talking all about all of this stuff, and it is the business standpoint of this. As an Asian lead and it underperforming, I think that the powers that be will say, oh, well, this is why we can't have an Asian leading a vehicle, because they're not going to bring in revenue.
I would say they've been saying that. They said that about black people, and then even though, again, with Marvel, I'm not
saying it's accurate.
No, I'm just saying I never used
this. Good reason why.
I never used Marvel as a base because people enjoy these movies more so because it's Marvel, not necessarily because you get a black lead, a female lead, an Asian lead. It's more so because of the vehicle of Marvel.
Yes.
But I would say, you mentioned action movies. A lot of people, the first action movie they put with it is Raid, anything Bruce Lee did. So clearly, yes, you can have successful franchises with an Asian lead. It works. That's not the problem here. The problem here is you're leading a vehicle no one knows about. That's why I said not having a cartoon out is detrimental to projects that aren't Marvel or DC. It's detrimental. Put the cartoon out so at least your kids can say, Mommy, I want to go.
The cartoons are out. The cartoons are on YouTube.
No. I'm saying
them.
to start a
Wow,
new
word.
cartoon. Start a new cartoon for these kids to kind of get sucked into.
Yeah.
Where the toys are selling, the book bags are selling.
I want to know more too. Give me a cartoon like a He-Man did.
No, I mean, I agree with that, Joel. There should be one for the kids and one that's a little bit more mature for us. That doesn't kind of have to ride the lines of, man, I want to use violence, but I can't really. It's for kids.
That was my one of the things I hated the most about that first movie. It looked like it was generally just trying to sell toys. It bothered me so much.
It was.
They barely used bullets in that damn movie. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
That movie had a toy for every ounce of that movie. There's not one part of that movie that wasn't turned into a toy. Not one. So yeah, it was clear. I think it was not only made for kids, but it was made, like you said,
and they wasted a decent lineup of characters in that first movie too.
I agree.
Yes, they did.
That was one of my favorite lineups. And again, let me say this: I never thought Cyborg saying "booyah" in a movie would really hit. Hearing Ray Fisher say it in the Whedon cut,
condescending,
right? But I'm starting to think Yo Joe just does not fucking work in a movie. It always just sounds so fucking bad. Like when he looks over and Yo Joe, it's like, what the fuck? What? You didn't even say it loud enough. You didn't even say it. Like what?
To me, that was the point of that. That's why it hit for me. This in Snake Eyes. To me, I think he was as a joke to her only because she's the only fucking Joe there. So it's right. So it's like that's why it was kind of like a joke. That's why I didn't take it like, oh, he has to say it proudly. He's not a Joe. How the fuck he care?
But having spent I didn't even think you needed to say it at all. It's not a G.I. Joe movie. What was?
But if you had to throw it in, to me that was the best way.
I'll tell you this: having spent the last like 2 or 3 days watching the G.I. Joe cartoon on YouTube on Hasbro's live channel.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the Yo Joe thing gets really fucking annoying. I loved it as a kid, but now I'm like, wow, they really like once an episode would have been fine. This shit, the way they overuse Yo Joe would be like Adam turning into He-Man, every like 4 minutes.
Yeah, really.
And all you just heard was by the power of Grayskull. By the power of Grayskull.
Or just every 5 seconds, I have the power. It's like, all right, we get it.
Yeah, like, bro, shut the
your muscles
fuck up.
Like, we get it. You have the power.
Yeah.
You got to build up Avengers Assembled. They built all the whole time waiting for the end game to pull that off.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. That paid off. But picture if we heard that in every Avengers movie. It wouldn't feel the same. It would just be like, bro, come on. Like, this is
you can't just throw it in there. You're right.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So now that you use it in this, if this universe does survive and you get an actual G.I. Joe movie, it's going to be like, when you hear this, it's going to be like, no. No, I don't like that. Don't do that. All right. So before we get into our trailer talk, I'm going to wait for JD to... Oh, perfect.
There we go.
Right on time. By the way, before we dive into our trailer talk, we got the Shang-Chi, we got Ghostbusters, Pete.
Yeah.
I just found this out. Let me know if you guys ever heard of this. Ana de Armas was going to be Marilyn Monroe in a biopic.
What?
I will say visually, yes. I don't really know how audio-wise you're going to pull that off.
Right.
So that's what kind of just took me for a loop. I was just like, well, yeah, she's just beautiful. Like, you could pull that off. The look, I'd never question that.
Well, it's all because she was dating Ben Affleck and she was getting the rub off of him.
Now he's getting the rub off of that J-Lo booty. So, yeah.
Dude, listen, shows you he's got a thing for Spanish ladies, bro.
Not only that, the man just has good taste.
I mean,
the man just has good taste. For whatever people want to say about Jennifer Garner, during that Daredevil time, she was pretty hot. Alias in Daredevil, she was pretty hot.
She was even hot. I liked her in Pearl Harbor when they weren't dating.
There you go. So the man just has good taste. If it doesn't work out with J-Lo, I am very curious to see what Pokemon is next.
I'm just pissed off. You know, he got to date J-Lo twice. I mean, the rest of us are waiting for a turn.
Wait for the one time, just the one time. But yeah, I didn't know that. That's intriguing. But apparently, it's been delayed again. So I don't know why.
I don't want to see him Marilyn Monroe. biopic. Sorry, doesn't do anything for me.
Fair. I want to see anything Anna does. Really, anything she does. I think I'm good.
Okay.
But all right, let's get into Ghostbusters. Let's start off with Ghostbusters. Pete, you definitely wanted to talk this, man. So I'm hoping this hits some of the nostalgic feels for you, and you're excited for this. So go ahead and walk us through your thoughts on this new trailer for Ghostbusters.
My buddy texted me yesterday, and he's like, "Yo, go watch the Ghostbusters trailer." I was like, "There's a new Ghostbusters trailer?" I had no idea. He's like, "Yeah, like don't even text me until you go watch it." I said, "All right," and I finally watched it today. Absolutely loved it. Like this really, I wish. It's bittersweet because I wish it would have been done years ago, and I'll continuously hold it against Bill Murray for being a pain in the ass about the script, and Harold Ramis obviously not being able to be in it, but I do know that he's kind of in it anyway in some regard. But I wish Rick Moranis was in it, like seeing Annie Potts, and he's just not acting anymore. It's not like a personal grudge or anything. He's just not in it. But I wish he was. That would have been cool. And maybe they can still con him into like a stinger or something. But, seeing Annie Potts as it hit exactly where it should. Like her and Egon got married. For whatever reason, they moved out to the country. Like there's some shit going on over there. And, we saw a few of these clips running around in the teaser trailer before from the little Stay Puft guys, seeing how cute they are just running around the supermarket, and the one guy's like making himself a s'more. Like that's fucking hilarious. But and I'm really glad also that they didn't show the guys. There was the phone call and then we're closed and that's it. Like cut it off there, but allude to something. And I'm really, really hoping that the trailers are done. I don't need anything else after that. Keep that shit under wraps until I see the movie. I don't want to see the guys. I've seen the toys for the guys. That's enough.
Yeah.
I don't need nothing more.
That looks cool too.
They do look cool. They look great. Honestly, like if I had room in this menagerie for the Ghostbusters toys, I would have had those. I think NECA was making them, the previous ones, and they're like super hyper detailed. There was the four of the Ghostbusters and Gozer, and I think they also made a Dana Barrett one, a figure, and they all looked awesome. The sculpts were amazing. I got no room for that shit, and I was like, I can't even look down that road. But man, this trailer was just absolute fun for me, and I'm weird in that way. Like I don't have kids. I love my nieces and nephew, but I like seeing kids in a movie like this because it'll draw other kids in. And, there's that possibility of the kids who've never seen the original Ghostbusters, which I attribute to exclusively bad parenting. But, they'll want to just, hey, Mom, Dad, Uncle Pete, what are they talking about? What are those movies? Well, come on back and we're gonna watch them.
Yes, sir. Ghostbusters is a must in my house.
Like I catch a lot of shit from a few of my friends who shall remain nameless for strongly disliking the remake. And I attribute that to nothing more than an idiot director who thought who he was and got proven that he wasn't anything.
Yeah. I didn't like it.
People, you didn't like it because it was female cast. That's horseshit.
Not at all. Not at all.
All you had to do was draw a line connecting those four women to them four guys. I don't care what it is. Nieces, nephews, proteges, students, whatever. Don't have the original guys just do cameos. That's horseshit.
Yeah.
Connect it.
Sad.
Yeah. Connect it however you want.
Hemsworth dancing.
Oh my god.
Okay, there was stupid scenes.
He was beyond stupid though. Let's be
real.
And
that villain was not imposing at all. Dude.
Of course not. But I'm just saying it would have at least made the movie more palatable for if they would have connected it. But to literally say, "Oh, I don't like that idea," and throw it out the window because you want to make some half-ass movie of your own vision, nobody cares what your vision is. Nobody fucking knows who you are. Go back to whatever recesses of Hollywood's underbelly that you crawled out from. I don't even know your fucking name, you stupid piece of shit. I'm talking about the director of that abomination, and I don't know his name, and I'll never know his name.
I think
Don't even say it. Don't even say it. You'll Beetlejuice the shit.
Okay, gotcha.
Paul Feig.
I will say that to your point of waiting too long to try to bring the essence of the original character, it reminds me of what Ice Cube's dealing with right now with Friday. Him now not wanting to do it now that John Witherspoon has passed away. He wanted to do it years ago.
Oh, it sucked, yeah.
But the studio didn't want to agree on the script that he wanted to do. So that's why it's taken literally.
And now they want to do it?
No, now they're like, all right, let's get the ball rolling. And he's like, well, I don't really want to do it now without one of the leading faces of my franchise. I don't want to do it without him.
Hot sauce on my burrito, baby.
And Tiny Lister's dead too. Like, what the hell?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
So now it's kind of just like there's just honestly there's no point.
And Michael Clark Duncan is dead too.
Yeah, he's been.
What was Michael Clark Duncan in that?
When they went to the flashbacks of Debo knocked you the fuck out.
Oh,
Michael
it
Clark
was.
Duncan
Yeah,
with Tiny Lister.
Yeah, that.
Wow,
that is.
Forgot about that.
But yeah, so to bring it back to Ghostbusters, just so no one freaks out here, I did see the original Ghostbusters. There's no need to be
Part 1 or part 2 with the goof.
both.
Good man.
Good man. Good.
I again feel the way that I always do of watching movies today and seeing how they were made back then always skeeves me. But I did watch it.
Did you know? I just found out recently that the Viago, whatever the guy in the painting of the second one,
Vigo,
yeah.
Vigo, he was one of the guys that was the terrorist in the first Die Hard movie.
He looked like him. He looked like him. Is that the ballerina?
No, that wasn't the ballerina. The ballerina was in Money Pit with Shelley Long and Tom
that
Hanks.
is true. He is in that. Yeah.
He does look a lot like
I can
him.
now see his face now. Yeah.
He was one of the ones in the. Remember when
What's the
he strapped the computer to a chair and somehow that turned into a bomb in the elevator shaft? I don't know how the fuck that happened, but he was one of the guys with the missile launcher towards the tank that got blown up by that shit.
Because everything in the 80s exploded.
Sigourney Weaver was in Ghostbusters, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Thought so.
Also,
Yes. Sexy Sigourney Weaver. Don't ever forget that part.
I like the trailer. My only request would be, it worked with the first It. Don't make it feel too much like Stranger Things. Like whenever that kid is in something, I swear to God, it always just feels like Stranger Things. Like the plot. Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Anytime they use Finn, I only get it with him. Millie Bobby Brown doesn't really make me feel like that. But as long as it has the true essence of Ghostbusters, which it looks like it does, I'm good. And I will support anything Paul Rudd's in, especially full bearded Paul Rudd. I am game. I am 100%.
I do love that the only adults that based on the toys at least, that we see is the originals in the suits, and then the rest of the kids.
Right.
Which I love.
And, to me, have fun with it. Really have fun with it. Get really crazy with the ghosts. Get really crazy with I call it the Marshmallow Man.
It is the Marshmallow.
Oh, it is the
Marshmallow Man.
I thought it was something else. I'm sorry. But yeah, get really creative, have fun with it, go all out. Because like I said, you got to hit with these movies, especially depending on an age gap of a lot of people even knowing, obviously we know who the Ghostbusters are. There's a large age gap that has no fucking idea who the Ghostbusters are.
Well,
so
my child will know who the Ghostbusters are. I promise you that.
So hit it and hit it hard, but have fun with it. So it looks like it's gonna be good. I'll definitely be going to go see this.
Oh hell yes!
Yes,
I'm with you. I'm gonna see that.
JD, I'll pass it to you, man. What were your thoughts on this new trailer?
The trailer was just a highlight. Like Pete, don't give me another one. I'll keep rewatching this trailer. I liked it. There were so many little bits and bobs in there. The remote control ghost catcher, the foot device.
The trap.
Yep.
The trap. Right. I love how that followed that in there. you could tell, you could see the reading between the lines where Egon hid the containment machine because he never wanted it to get ruptured like it did in the first one. So he took it away from any contact. I like that. And you know, him being the only one that can protect the world, you know what I mean? So he sat on it, and that's where he laid his hat. That's where he went on, you know. They treated him like a hero. So I like that. I like Annie Potts showing up. I like the nod to Dan Aykroyd at the end. You know, you just see him.
Was that Aykroyd? Was that his voice? Okay, I thought it was Bill Murray. I couldn't tell.
It looked like Aykroyd. It sounded like Aykroyd.
You know, I like that. I like how they kept looking at the YouTube videos, which they did in the Paul Feig thing. You know, they kept looking at that.
That's two, you fucks. Just saying.
One more.
That is two. He did say don't pull the Beetlejuice effect.
Yeah. I don't know why I feel like digging on Pete tonight. I love the kid. I do.
Listen, sorry.
He's like, I'll fuck you up. Wait till you come downstairs. I'll fucking crack you with one of my swords.
Forget that. I'm gonna fuck you up in my own way, which is gonna be like, we're not leaving till this bottle's done.
Please no. They always told me the devil would be beautiful.
I'm gonna have a new cricket chocolate bar just for you, so your fucking wife makes you sleep on the couch.
Oh my god, I can't believe we ate it. What you call it? So I liked it. I'm looking forward to the movie. I want to see some fun shit. I just want to be entertained, you know, and that looks like it plugs all the right notes. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm with you guys. I don't need any more trailers. I'm starting to feel the same way with Shang-Chi.
There was another Shang-Chi trailer that dropped? I had no idea.
Yeah, I put it in the group chat.
I've been knee deep in G.I. Joes all day long, and last night too. By the way, just, if anybody out there in Figure It Out land is looking for some G.I. Joes, I am listing my entire collection on the CGC boards right now. So go buy some stuff. I could always use the money.
I would have been looking at it, but I'm really into the 25th anniversary line.
Yeah, I like those too. That's why I'm kind of like trying to get rid of these. You know, people like, oh, what are you going to do with the money? You're going to go on vacation? Like, no, I'm going to buy more stuff. Duh.
I know.
My aunt asked me that. She was just like, oh, you sold those. What are you going to do with the money? I said, I already spent it on more stuff. What are we talking about? There's more pre-orders out there.
Yo, I checked my pre-orders on Big Bad Toy Store. I got 17 things coming at some point.
Wait, Jesus. I never do, but I want to give a shout out to AJ. AJ,
I never do, but
I never do.
He's my co-host on GVN Talk, and he's addicted to the more statues, right? Mm-hmm. And I always tell him, because he always goes, I don't understand why you buy like the figures. I'm like, well, AJ, not only are they at a way cheaper price, it's just more practical. Like, you're spending $225 8 different times to get these big ass statues. And to me, statues work if you got what Pete has behind him. That's a setup. That's where you buy statues. But if you don't have that and your statues are just sitting on like a dresser or whatever the hell, it was not worth $225 for that. It just was not. And
the vast majority of that is toys.
Right, exactly.
You got to see.
I'll always tell you
the stat. Ramon, my co-host on the Basement Show, said it best. Like, down here is the set. Like, down here is the basement show, but upstairs is the museum. Upstairs is the penthouse. That's where the statues are.
It gets better upstairs.
It does get better.
All right, we need
some statues.
We need a GVN Pete's Cribs edition.
You
just do the door.
Yeah. You know, I was up there. I've been up there a few times, but every time I was up there, I was drunk and it was like dark. So I didn't get a full appreciation of going up there sober with it being fully lit. I was like, how long has that been up there? 20 years. I didn't see it last time.
Since I've been living up there.
Is that He-Man in that corner over there?
Over there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the Mondo He-Man.
Oh, I love. All right, we're gonna talk He-Man.
And actually, that below it is the Mondo Skeletor, which I still need to do a box opening for.
Please do, and please send me that link ASAP.
Will
Please do that. All right, Joel, to close this out on Ghostbusters, man, what were your thoughts on this new trailer?
Well, just like the rest of you, I loved it. I'm a big. That was probably one of my first loves was Ghostbusters. You know, one of the first things I remember actually legitimately loving was Ghostbusters. My first fanboy is maybe slightly even before Batman was Ghostbusters.
Aha, because you did that when I told you my love.
No, you legitimately told me you like Star Wars more than Batman. I've never said
no.
Whoa!
No, I did not.
I'm just telling you,
I did not.
I said my first love was Ghostbusters, but like I never said Batman was. I love Batman more than anything.
I know there's mad fans out there like, Mom, Dad, stop fighting.
No, my first that's one of the first things I loved, and then it was like Ninja Turtles, and like I had it moved on. Batman was consistent from the day I saw it, and whatever year it was. Maybe it was the year after it came out, was because I saw it on VHS first, and actually I could watch it in theaters, so it was probably 1990. But Ghostbusters been around since 85 or whatever the fuck. That's when I was born. But I've had toys. I had the firehouse. I had the car. I had the figures. Which all of them.
Even the cartoons were good. I don't know if
the cartoons were good.
Yes.
I even like the knockoff one from the years before the
Filmation one.
What the
actually
fucking,
that
gorilla.
was the original one. You understand?
Yes. Right. Well, right. That was the original one. They had to take it. They called it the real Ghostbusters.
No, there was a show in the 70s with the guys, and then
actual show, and then there was a cartoon.
Right. So the movie came out, and the movie licensed the rights of the name for the movie.
Right.
With the caveat that Filmation will get to do the cartoon based on the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then whatever production company did them dirty. So they were like, oh, fuck you. And they did the Ghostbusters cartoon based on their old show.
There you go. And I know there was a big, because I still saw the movies that made us, the movies that made us.
Toys that made us?
Yeah. They did. I saw the Ghostbusters one.
Oh, the movies that made us. Yeah.
And they were like, because it's more recent. I think the new episodes came out Friday. They filmed scenes where it was Ghost Breakers and Ghostbusters, and they said they couldn't do that the whole movie. And at one point, the crowd was going crazy singing Ghostbusters, and they called the studio like, "Listen to that. We can't shoot that again. They're not going to say so it's Ghostbusters." They said, "Fuck it." And then at some point, something happened where the studio had changed, and the guy that was
one bought the other. Yes.
Right. And so he's like, "Fuck it, sell it to them," and they got the name rights. But so they got lucky, if anything. But yeah, I love Ghostbusters. I love the trailer. I loved everything I saw, but I had the same feel. When you use the same music, that's the key. When you're gonna go back and do a movie and like bring forward, that's what RoboCop really fucking failed. Aside from not being R, it didn't use the music. You have to have that essence. There's heart that comes from using the same soundtrack, and that's the essence of the movie. So, and then of course you nailing it with like having Ray pick up the phone at the end of the movie, at the end of the trailer. I'm like, oh my God, I just fucking can't wait to see what it looks like. I just done right, because like I did not like the Ghostbusters movie that came out with the all-female one, and it's not because it was all female. Like I like a lot of movies. If you haven't noticed, I like a lot of things. I don't dislike a lot of things. And that movie, I literally walked out and was not happy because I thought it was fucking terrible. Now, I grew up a Ghostbusters fan though, so yes, I am a more biased person when it came to the Ghostbusters, and I know the people I went with enjoyed it for what it was. But I'm like, that wasn't, to me, it was not Ghostbusters. To me, it was not. It didn't feel the same. And that's why this already in just the trailers feels a lot like what I remember as a kid. So I'm going to go in, hopefully it being good. But I have a lot of faith, especially with the original characters coming back, that it will be. And I love it. I think the toys are fucking fantastic. I'm excited.
Isn't it scary how we're all going into Ghostbusters with a hell of a lot more faith than we did going into Snake Eyes?
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, the casting of Snake Eyes is what put us off from the jump. So it's like that was from the jump. All of us, when we did our first show together in February, first thing we all said was, well, the casting is what already made us go, well, mentally I'm checked out. So that that alone ruined it from there.
The casting for Ghostbusters, I to capitalize on something you said, Juwaan, I was like, I think we'll all follow Paul Rudd anywhere at this point.
Yeah, for damn.
And if nobody has seen, not to give props to any other YouTube shows, because obviously this is the best one on the channel, but the Hot Ones First We Feast episode with Paul Rudd was phenomenal.
I mean that GIF, right?
GIF. You don't buy Christmas GIFs.
Wait,
and I don't care what the guy who made it up fucking says that it is. Well, you're wrong too, sir.
I think he said GIF because
he did.
G stands for graphic, so it's GIF.
Right,
and it's still not graphics.
Yeah,
I'm not a graphic designer.
Right, it's GIF. It doesn't make sense to call it GIF.
Oh, GIF.
Right.
What did I say? I thought I said GIF.
You said GIF first.
I said GIF.
You said peanut butter. This ain't Jiffy, motherfucker.
Anyway, to Joel's point, before we move on, I want to back something you said, Joel, because it's important. Because whenever people hear guys talk about that movie, they assume it's because the lack of masculinity in it. That Ghostbusters movie was not bad because it was all women. That Ghostbusters movie was bad because it was one horrible Saturday Night Live skit. That's what it was. That's honestly what it was.
Not a bad way.
Oh, wow.
Listen, I have watched a lot of movies with absolutely no masculinity in it, and they're not all porn. Just gonna throw that out there.
That's the clip. That's the clip. That's the clip. I always wait for it at a point in the episode where I'm like, that's the clip. That's where it is.
Happy to help again.
But no, I mean, look, they used that same cast for a movie called Bridesmaids, which essentially was a hangover. That was brilliant.
It was fucking hilarious.
It was brilliant, but I will say I felt the same way about Ghostbusters that I did with the Sandra Bullock Oceans movie. To me, at some point, it's better off. It's better off to, instead of taking something that people are used to, just create something of its own with an all-female cast. My issue isn't that it's an all-female cast. My issue was, when I left that movie, it made me say, you could have just made another Oceans movie with the cast that I actually enjoy. Like, you could have just made an all-new movie with this cast, and it would have been fine. But to me, I left that not feeling like it was a true Oceans movie. I just miss the Oceans that I know. So to me, that Ghostbusters movie was so bad. You had to watch the first two over and over and over again to get the bad taste out your mouth.
I did like Ocean's 8. I liked Ocean's 8.
Really?
Yeah.
I did too. I like Ocean's 8.
I like Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12, Ocean's 8, and then Ocean's 13.
You know what it was, JD? Let me be 100% honest with you. It comes down to what sold me on Oceans, besides it just being an amazing cast, was the chemistry between Clooney and Pitt, right?
Yeah.
Where they just worked off each other so well. I didn't really get any of that from the Sandra Bullock Oceans, where she's just playing off somebody that it's so much fun how well they play off of each other.
I thought Sandra did good. No, I enjoyed
Wait, say it again, Joel?
I enjoyed it for what it was. I enjoyed Sandra's before. I liked all the actors that were used in that movie.
I liked it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I liked the twist. I liked the hook on that.
Yeah.
It worked.
Same.
It worked.
No problem. And they found a way to bring in one of the funniest late night show co-hosts in the world. So good on them. All right.
Who?
James Corden. He was the officer that flipped at the end. That was the big surprise. He was the officer who was in on it. How do you not remember that? You just said the twist. That was the twist.
I'm thinking a twist of being this girl. What's her name? Catwoman. Princess Diary.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Oh, Anne Hathaway?
There we go.
No, the real twist was the guy that was chasing them was with them the entire time.
I didn't remember that.
Yeah, she paid him off at the end, and he went his way, they went their way. That's how they got off scot-free.
I'm going to watch it again.
All right, so the new Shang-Chi, Shang-Chi. To me, I'm gonna wait till the press comes out for that movie. I want to hear how Simu Liu says it. I want to hear.
Let me ask you, like, you speak fucking Mandarin, which is still a surprise to me. Like, is that more proper, Shang-Chi?
I'm going to be honest with you. The pronunciation of that will always sound American, no matter how I say it. So to me, that's why I'm like, I will leave it to hear how they say it.
He has it on Twitter how to say it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he put it on Twitter how to say all their names because he was a little upset.
Still confused me.
People not saying their names.
I want to wait to hear him say it.
Drop that in the group chatty.
You got it.
But the extended trailer really is it's very short. It's only 59 seconds. It gives us a little bit of him at the tournament that we saw Abomination and Wong at. We saw a funny clip of him shirtless in what's her name? Aquafina's character going, "Why are you shirtless?" And he's kind of just like,
"Where did your shirt go?
Where did your shirt go, man?" And then of course us just getting more dope shots of Mandarin in action. And then it ends on what I believe will be the coolest shot of this fucking movie. And it's a shot of Shang-Chi standing there in the rings just orbiting him. And it's just
the color changed to
yeah.
yellow or one instead of blue.
Right, they're just orbiting him, and it's kind of just like, well, let's see what the fuck this is about. But it really doesn't give you anything else than what the last two have really given you, really.
Okay.
So I just thought we'd bring it up because I thought it was cool. Like I said, the shot of the rings just kind of spinning around them was just really, really, really good.
He had a superhero landing at the end.
He did have a superhero landing. Yep.
Gotta have the superhero landing.
Gotta have it. So I am looking forward to this. We will be seeing this together if all goes according to plan in September. So I'm very, very, very excited for that, man.
See you in September. I had it.
When the summer ends.
So
there you go.
JD and Joel didn't, not Joel, sorry. JD and Pete didn't check out the.
I didn't even know.
No, I saw it. I just
you saw it? Okay, so you want to give your thoughts, JD?
Look, they got my money. They got my money. I don't need to see any more trailers. But if I can add this comment, can we stop with all the cage fighting, pit fighting, stuff? I'm tired of it. Not everybody it was in Snake Eyes. It was in Mortal Kombat. It's in Shang-Chi. It's in the new movie that we're talking about. I'm not trying to knock it. I'm just, you know what? I'm at a point at the night. I don't want to disrespect the name, so I'm not gonna keep trying to figure it out.
You know what, JD? I won't disagree with you. I was very disappointed when this movie was first being put into production. Everything they were hyping up a martial arts like a martial arts tournament kind of thing. So I thought it would be your typical white platform where two people are fighting, kind of Dragon Ball Z style. Your feet can't touch outside of the ring, or you're eliminated kind of thing. So when you kind of see that it's condensed in this cage, it's kind of just like, I don't know. I kind of like it where you kind of have all this landscape you can fight in.
I'm like, you didn't have to spend this much money to smack the Mortal Kombat DC games in their face. You really didn't have to.
Those are awesome.
What is the actor's name that plays Mr. Chi in this case?
Simu Liu.
Simu what? I'm sorry? Liu? Why am I like when you brought up the cage fighting and everything? I don't know. And if this is racist, I'm sorry, just edit it out. But like I'm just picturing Simu Liu, did I say that right? In the cage, and he's like this, and they're all chanting Shang-Chi, Shang-Chi, like they were chanting to Chuck Lee in Bloodsport, and he's doing that thing. I don't know. And his fucking pecs are going like up and down like this, and there's like 20-pound weights on each of them. He fucking got I don't know, 100-pound barbells on each of his nipples and shit.
That guy was fucking huge.
Yeah, he's fucking gigantic. Olo Young is the man. Yeah, it looks just like him.
Dude, jacked like a mother.
But he's skinnier.
They don't go that route. Yeah. Let's hope they don't go that route.
Because he's a nutritionist. That's why.
Oh yeah? Yeah, I was always a big Bolo fan.
I did want to take this break before we wrap up our last few topics before we get out of here. Send our GVN figure it out well wishes to Bob Odenkirk. who's stable, but he was, wasn't looking too good. He was filming Better Call Saul, the final season. Stay strong, my man. I heard your movie Nobody was amazing. It got greenlit.
I like it.
Sequel.
It was.
So we need you, Bob. So rest up. Take all the time you need. Better Call Saul fans can wait. Nobody fans can wait. You get healthy. We're sending all the love possible.
So
Here you go, baby.
Absolutely. All right. So I thought you guys would like to hear this. Sony is reportedly interested in Jodie Turner-Smith for the role of Calypso in the Kraven the Hunter movie.
Rumor, but yes.
It's a rumor, just a rumor. But Pete,
But I like it.
because I know how much you need this movie.
oh yeah. I'm looking this girl up right now.
I can send you the photo of her. Hold on. I just put in the group.
Yeah, just,
You got it?
okay. I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
She could get it, imagine.
I mean, that's usually what I'm looking things up for. So,
Yeah.
all right. Yeah. Yeah.
Ugly is not
Okay.
something I would attribute to her.
Nope.
Right.
Nope.
Calypso.
Yeah.
I already
Calypso
saw
for
Calypso in Pirates
for
of the
sure.
Caribbean.
Wait, say it again, JD.
I already saw Calypso in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yo, and she was ridiculous. I
Yeah.
love that actress.
She
I
worked
sent
with-
the pronunciations.
Oh, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
All right. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, there's a lovely little photo with her breastfeeding. That's a good one, and that's just right on Google. I love that
Hey.
stuff.
That just popped
Yeah.
up.
That just popped right up. No pun
Gotta love
intended.
Google.
Yeah.
Gotta love Google.
No
Um,
filters.
That's why I always
Honestly, this kid's got the same look I do. Like, really fascinated. Fantastic.
So Pete, are you
Yes, sir.
familiar with the character?
Calypso, yes. I first became familiar with Calypso when I first got into comics,
The cartoon,
and
though.
the McFarlane Spider-Man series had just dropped, and that was Torment. So that was still to this day one of the craziest Spider-Man stories I've ever read.
Don't
You know, it was like Kraven with half the fucking bullet, like the shotgun blast missing out of his head. I'm like, that was a splash page. Like that was what fifth grade Pete had to see on page 3 of his Spider-Man comic. And I'm like, what am I reading?
Shit, I was in
insane.
high school. God damn it.
I mean, look at these guys. They were fucking.
You weren't
Speaking
even
of breastfeeding,
seedling.
they were still fucking with bottles.
So Joel,
Well, I get my walker to fucking stand up.
so I'll kick it to you, Joel. What are your thoughts on this rumor?
I like it. I like it because I forgot about her. Honestly, again, I didn't really read a lot of Kraven in Spider-Man comics aside from I think his death or some shit like that. I forget what it was. But Calypso, I remember in the cartoons, the doctor, he used to call her Calypso, and I think that was their version of Calypso. That was fun. But so I remember that's eventually when he became good. That was the reason why. It's because of her. But I don't know. I thought she was a villain, but I'm not sure. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
I know
Especially
it's his love interest, basically. Is what it is.
especially how they portray him, whether it's bad guy.
So
Guy.
I have a noob question actually. It's something I'm not too sure of. Is that Calypso the same Calypso that Storm fought for control of the Morlocks?
No,
That
no,
different
definitely.
characters, right?
No,
Okay.
No,
you're talking
Callisto.
about Callisto.
Callisto. Okay.
Yeah.
See, that's okay. I've had a few shots. I'm sorry.
Yeah. She's over the eye patch and
Yeah.
No.
Just making sure. Okay.
JD, I'm gonna pass.
I'm not sure the movies knew that though, because she looks like Calypso more than Callisto.
I'm gonna pass it to you, JD. What are your thoughts on this rumor?
Makes me know, never mind.
Perfect.
Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. This is going to be in the third Spider-Man movie?
No. This is gonna be in a Craven standalone movie.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Because of all people that needed their own movie, it's crazy.
Yeah, no. Let's get that out of here.
JD's like, no. Throw it all away. Throw it in the garbage. Get it
I
out.
want to know. If we don't even know. Oh wait, who is Kraven? They rumored this.
Aaron
It was
Taylor-
Quicksilver.
Yeah, Aaron Taylor.
Aaron
Johnson.
Taylor Johnson.
Yeah.
I have no interest in it.
I'm not far from you, JD. It's more kind of just like I'm so uninterested in him outside of either with Black Panther or with Spider-Man. So just whatever they decide to do, I'm okay with. Whatever you want to do. You want to put her in, whatever you want to put in.
I want to know when Sony is going to greenlight Figure It Out, the motion picture.
Who would play?
I want me to play me.
I want you to play you.
As long as Michael B. Jordan plays me, that's
no, motherfucker. You know it's gonna play you. It's gonna be Kevin Hart, and you're gonna like it.
No, I will tell them replace my character altogether. You know how much I dislike Kevin Hart.
No, you know exactly who's gonna play.
Separate that shit from Kevin Hart.
Be happy that you're gonna
you know what? You know what, Joel? I will be the asshole who says, you know what? Alfonso Ribeiro, put him in this motherfucker.
Oh my God.
Wait a minute.
Alfonso Ribeiro.
I don't want anybody but him. Put Carlton in.
No, wait. Here is the damn question, and I am officially posing this to all Figure It Out fans. Pop this shit on Twitter and cast the Figure It Out movie for us. You guys do it. All you guys do it.
The first one that cast Henry Golding as Pete. Digital download of the Unstoppable Comics catalog.
All right, so hold on.
Fuck you, Gabriel Iglesias.
Let's do this.
Motherfucker.
Much better.
Wait, I'm out, JD. I'm gonna say this. I wasn't gonna laugh at that, but I remembered you laughed when Joel said Kevin Hart. I'm gonna laugh at your expense.
They're all great. Casting choice.
This is gonna be a good fucking movie.
You know what? Let me just say this. Anyone who casts the Figure It Out crew, don't just cast based off of how we look. Be creative with it, okay? Don't just look at me and assume.
Gotta watch many episodes to get to know it.
Goodness gracious!
I'm telling you right now, JD's got some digital stuff for you. I definitely got a prize for the best one. I got prizes for the fucking top 3 casting calls.
You know what I'm already getting prepared to be upset about. I can already feel as though Pete will be the best one. Someone will come out and be like, John Bernthal. Like,
oh my God!
Why does he get John Bernthal? Kevin Hart. What is that? What is that?
Kevin Hart?
What do I got to
find him funny?
Somebody's going to give me Jack Black from Nacho Libre. I don't need a fucking haircut.
You know what? Not only do the fans have to cast us, whoever is a talented artist out there who wants us to plug them 100% for free, once we are casted, draw us. Because if you can draw JD, it's Nacho Libre. The funny.
Not that I want it. I'll take Chris Hemsworth as Fat Thor.
Starring Tom Cruise as Pete.
Oh my God.
I want to see Henry Golding as Pete.
Oh, man.
The only thing throwing him off is Henry Golding is way too tall at this point.
I mean,
I'm just letting you guys know, fans out there, my feelings get hurt easily. If it's not Denzel Washington, I will block you. Anyway.
You want to be in this movie?
Yes, I want older Juwaan. I want older, wiser Juwaan. And you know what? Wait, if we go back to the 90s, I'll take cultural appropriation. Cast Al Pacino.
Pacino's gonna come and do
and if anybody casts Joel as The Rock, I'm gonna fuck you up.
You know what? Because you know what they're gonna say? They're gonna go, well, JD, Juwaan, and Pete are always making fun of people. Joel's just so nice and quiet. Yeah. Let's give him the casting of a lifetime and just throw whatever to the rest of the guys.
I can't do it.
You know Joel's gonna get something that's just like, oh, it's very flattering. Very flattering.
No, don't flatter that motherfucker down there.
Don't flatter him whatsoever.
I mean, if we're race swapping, I'll take fucking Wesley Snipes.
Okay, so if we're crossing elements, don't fucking make me Big Pussy from The Sopranos.
fucking JD. That's exactly what they're gonna catch you.
I will fuck you the fuck up.
Oh man. Oh my goodness.
Oh my god! Look at listen, people. All right, don't do that. Don't do that.
Man, I am in tears. Okay, let's do our last topic so we can get the hell out of here. So I can use just that clip as our clip for the week. All right. So I thought you guys would be interested in this. A new Predator movie is on the way. Director Trachtenberg, writer Patrick Ason. In a new interview with Collider, producers John Davis and John Fox revealed the movie will be called Skull, and it will be about the Predator's first journey to Earth.
Word.
The one with cavemen?
No. Because it says here the film will also feature a female hero, though details about the character or the actress playing her remain unknown.
So is this taking into account Aliens versus Predator? Because
it says right here any details about the film or where it's set. That the producers didn't. They were very vague about it.
I'm with JD on this, but I'm less curious about where as to when, because like this whole ass temple was built as like this ancient fucking artifact.
It was before the whalers. Right?
Yeah,
it's supposed to be a prequel, but they don't say when. It's supposed to be like his origin story.
Right.
But
I'll take some Vikings, or some shit like that.
He says this. It goes back to what made the original Predator movie work. It's the ingenuity of human beings.
Ingenuity.
What the fuck did I just say?
It's late. It's late.
Come on, Kevin.
That's why it's not.
Don't start that shit.
It's gift.
Anyway, who won't give of a human being who won't give up, who's able to observe and interpret, basically being able to beat a stronger, more powerful, well-armed force.
No,
that's what he's saying.
No,
that's the only information he's giving. I'm going to be honest with you. I thoroughly enjoyed the last one. I really did. I didn't think it was great. I'm not comparing it to anything. I left going, I had fun with that movie.
Remind me, that was the one where like they was hunting the predator, and then there was the super predators afterward. Yeah, I had fun with it.
Yeah,
there was the RoboCop costume at the end.
Yeah, where he jumped inside the suit and was down inside the. Yeah, I had fun with it. I don't care.
I really liked the Robert Rodriguez one, man.
I did too.
People shitting on that. I liked that.
Wait, with Adrian Brody, right?
With Adrian Brody, Daniel Trejo,
that's the last good. That's the one That's the last one I
Goggins.
I'll be honest. I'm a very easy person to please when it comes to movies, and especially if I'm not so hardcore about the franchise. Like I could just go in and have fun. Like we talked about Doom like that last week. I liked Alien versus Predator. I'm like, hey, all right, cool. Ancient ass fucking enemies. I'm with it.
The first one was
first one.
First one was good. Second one was weird.
The second
one was weird. Sanaa Lathan in there wasn't a bad.
I can't even remember the second one.
I like her. She's hot, man.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh my god,
that was how you got me. I was just like, oh,
hell yeah,
okay.
Hell yeah.
And then I was like, oh, aliens killing each other. I'll take that too.
That was the gal what teamed up with the Predator at the end, right?
Yes.
Yeah, she was hot.
Yeah.
Alien vs Predator worked the same way Freddy vs Jason worked. It just worked. There's no bad way to do that. And then until you saw Alien vs Predator Requiem, and you said, oh, there's a way.
There is a bad way.
Okay. All right. I knew it would show its head at some point.
Yeah. And ask me which one I own the DVD of.
Which
of course you do.
The shitty one.
Isn't it always the way?
I bought it because I thought the lighting would get better. I thought watching it on the version that I did was bad, and the DVD being the premiere copy would have the lighting. No, it was just fucking. It was like that bad episode of Game of Thrones where it was all in the fucking night.
Yes.
You'll have to be more specific.
Hey,
that last season had a few.
Game of Thrones was the shit, regardless.
But Game of Thrones was a piece of shit. That's
right. Game of Thrones is awesome.
Yeah.
But it definitely did have. Yeah, it was just too dark. I'm sorry, it was too dark.
Yeah.
I know the whole premise is they're hunters, so they're looking more to be at night. But there's a difference between being at night and shooting it purely in the essence of night.
Right.
Like someone had to be like, is that a light there? Turn that off. all dark. We shoot
Yeah,
it
you mean we're supposed to shoot in like not at night? But we need realism.
right? It's just
I
like
had a first date to that movie. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it the last date?
It was a blind date. No, she ended up becoming a
It
for
was
like
a blind
a
date.
year or so.
Wow.
So it worked out. We didn't watch the movie. No.
That's
There
the
you
best
go.
time.
There you go. There you go. That's how that worked out. Because leaving that movie and going, you know what? I still have an interest in you would be weird. It would be watching that movie.
Yeah.
But all right, guys, that's all we got for you on this new episode of Figure It Out. We are getting out of here. We're all old men. We want to go to sleep.
I got one other thing.
Yeah, go ahead, Pete.
So, come the second week in August, the 13th to the 15th, I don't know where this is, but I have to find out. Cherry Hill, New Jersey, or I think it's
Jersey.
Cherry Hill. Yeah, Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
It's near Philly.
Somebody said it was near Philly. There's something called Monster Mania going on. It's a horror con that weekend.
Oh, nice.
The guest list is spectacular, but one of the premier ones that I noticed is Kane Hodder is going to be there in full Jason regalia, and you can get a picture with him. I think I kind of need to go to that, so I don't know if any of you guys are interested, but I just thought I'd throw that shit out there.
Very cool. All right.
Yeah.
It's my
I think-
birthday weekend, so let's.
Oh, no doubt.
Oh, what day?
The 13th.
Cool.
Oh, nice. My sister's the 14th.
Oh, look at that. Mine's
Yeah,
Friday
so
the 13th.
since you're plugging that, I want to give a teaser. I got something special going on August 28th.
Nice.
If you are in New York, be prepared.
We're close enough.
Here is some major news.
And trust
I don't
and
think I'll
believe-
not be in New York.
Trust right, you live there. Just and believe. It's definitely big. You guys are gonna want to stay tuned for that for sure.
Yes.
For sure. I personally can't wait. God damn it.
We're gonna talk a little afterwards.
Oh hell yeah.
The behind the scenes stuff, boys.
But as far as you guys are concerned, as our fans, that is all we have for you. We thank you guys so much for tuning in each and every week, leaving your comments. I'm gonna see what clip I'm gonna make the clip of the week for this episode. There was a lot.
I want to shout out the best, in the group chat. Put up the best ones that show up on Twitter, and let's have a ranking.
They get a prize.
Prizes will be doled out. I am ready to mail people some shit.
I'll definitely. I got some digital books to send people.
We could actually send them a little bit from GVN, a little bit from Pete's Basement, a little bit from Unstoppable JD. Just give them a little flavor of everybody.
Yeah,
that's it. That's it.
Gift basket. So yeah, we'll make it fun for you guys. So Joe, I'm just letting you know for when you listen back and you go, man, there was a joke I had against Juwaan about being Kevin Hart. It's not in there. We edited it. I don't need you because I know as soon as people hear it, they're not even gonna try to be creative. They're just gonna go Juwaan, short, black, Kevin Hart, short, black, done. I don't even need to think anything.
I mean, there's Cat Williams.
That's true.
I'd rather be Kevin Hart.
Just got blacklisted.
I will say this: Serena and Venus's dad is being played by Will Smith. I am sure he looks nothing like Will Smith. If that is the case, give me somebody else, okay? Give me somebody else. Get creative.
Terry Crews.
There you go.
There we go.
And put all the muscles on my neck, in my ears, in my forehead.
You could do the peck popping.
Yeah, come on. I can't do it now, but in my head, I can peck pop.
Starring Michael Jai White as Juwaan.
I'll take that. I'll take that any day.
Listen, if you come out next week wearing the Spawn cape, I'll give you the nod.
Hands down.
I already told you guys who you need to fan cast me as. It's Michael B. Jordan or nothing. All right. But we will see you guys same time, same place next week. Till then, peace.
Salud.
Peace.